Question number 5. So if all 4 runners have the same mass, remember that, same mass, they all weigh the same. They didn't give it to us, but they're saying they all weigh the same. Who has the smallest momentum? Momentum is kilograms times meters per second. Mass is kilograms. Velocity is meters per second. I write out all the units so you know where we're coming from. So the cheating way, I'm going to tell you how to do this, the fastest way. To find the slowest momentum, I would just look at the distance. Who has the smallest distance here? Not 8.9, 7.8, right. So the answer is Marcos. I already know. I've done too much of this to know. So smallest distance because they went the slowest, like, in terms of how far they went. So I could already tell you it's Marcos. But let's figure this out the mathematical way. So we know mass already. They said they all have the same mass. We're going to choose 10. So we got M. We got it. But we need to find P. But in order to find P, we also need to do M times V. So we have 10. We're going to say all of them are 10s. Times the velocity. But look, there's the problem. Kilometers, minutes. What is velocity? Meters instead of kilometers, and seconds instead of minutes. So this is how I'm going to do it. This is how I'm going to approach it. I'm going to walk you through it, and I'm going to do everything in order as I see Ashton, Marcos, Jamie, and Abby. So I'm going to write 12.5 km over 42 min. So I'm just writing them all out in order. Nothing crazy so far. Sorry. I'm writing super small. I'm not used to writing this small. We got 10.5 km and 32 min. Sorry, I have to keep looking up. 8.9 km over 30 min. So I'm going to keep everything in the same order as I see the list of guys so we could stay consistent. So we can't just do this and find velocity. By the way, velocity is equal to distance divided by time. Distance is measured as meters. Time is measured as seconds. And velocity is obviously meters per second, right? Makes sense, right? M over S equals that, right? So let's convert kilometers to meters. I'm going to use a different color. The cheating way to turn that into this is move this over twice. 1, 2. 1, 2. 3. Sorry, 3 times, not 2 times. Because kilo is 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Now, when I say move it over 3, I'm talking about the decimal. And wherever we see a little chair, I call them chairs. We put zeros. We converted them all to meters. So now, on the top, we got 12,500 meters. Boom. 7,800 meters. I'm just going off of it. I'm just reading it from here. And what is that? 10,500 meters. Now we got 8,900 meters. This is the way I do it. I just know shortcuts because I've done this for so long and I studied hard. Now, that's the fastest way, okay? Move it over 3 times, and then you put in a 0 everywhere you see it. So if you had, for example, this is enough examples. We got not too much time. So now we want to convert minutes to seconds. The easiest way is multiply everything by 60. Why? Look, 42 minutes. I'm going to write it all out. We got 1 minute equals 60 seconds. Minutes cancels out, so it's 42 times 60 divided by 1. Obviously, anything divided by 1 is still that same number, so 1 doesn't matter. 42 times 60, boom. So what is 42 times 60? It's 2,520 seconds. 38 times 60 is 2,280 seconds. Whoops, just S. Don't write SE. 32 times 60 is 1,920 seconds. Last but not least, 30 times 60, 1,800 seconds. So now look, we have M over S, M over S, M over S, M over S. What is velocity? Velocity equals M over S, or distance over time. So now we're going to divide these guys out. So our first velocity will be 4.9 meters per second. I just say ms. 3.4. You could take out your phone and check me, but these are all correct. 5.4. I just do this for the sake of saving time and not to bore you with calculations that I could have done beforehand. Perfect. We got our velocities. These all equal v. Yeah, sorry, that's all the way down there. So we need m times v to find our p. So p is equal to kilograms times meters per second, kilograms times meters per second, kilograms times meters per second, kilograms times meters per second. I'm doing this step by step for you. So we got this. So really quick, I'm just writing an equals right here. I'm just saying P is equal to all this. So really, you could ignore this. I'm just saying P's in general. Oops. So race. There we go. So we're going to do, what is our mass? Our mass, we said for all of them, they all weigh the same. Not because I said so, because the question said so. So they're all going to be 10 kg, 10 kilograms. I just chose 10 because it's an easy number. You can even choose 1 kg, to be quite honest. Doesn't really matter. I just chose 10. Times. So M, we got our kgs, times velocities. These, each one's different, right? So our first one for Ashton is what? 4.9 m over s. Our next person is Marcos, which is 3.4 meters per second. Our third velocity is 5.4 meters per second. Next one is 4.9 meters per second. Now, the trick with when you multiply anything times 10 with a decimal, you just move the decimal over 1 over. So this would be, if we moved it over like this, that would just be 49. So our first momentum is 49 kg, right? Kg times meters per second. So kilograms times meters per second. So it worked out. This is why I write all of the units so I know that my answer is the same. This one would be 34, right? Move it over, it would just be 34. This one would be 54. This one would be 49. And look, kg times meters per second, we have our mass kg times meters per second. If we would have kept this kilometers per minutes, that would not be the same thing as meters per second. We would have to do a crazy conversion for all that. So I like to do all this work beforehand so I can do all this clean work afterwards. So now, who has the smallest number? Ashton, Marcos, Jamie, or Abby? Marcos, right? Because he's the second one. So like I said earlier, the cheating way would just to be look at the distance, but you can't do that. You have to prove that you know what you're doing. So we found velocity with our distance and our time. However, we converted the kilometers to meters, minutes to seconds. Did all that right here. Boom, 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 boom. Nice in order for each person. We found our meters per second. And lastly, we did our formula. Momentum is equal to mass times volume. Masses are all the same, they said in the question, so I just chose 10. I just chose 10. You could have done 1 to make it even easier. Next, we got all kgs. We found our velocities right from earlier, put them all in order, and then just multiply them straight across. And obviously we know a decimal, you move it over once it's to 10. That's kind of why I choose 10, by the way. It just makes it easier for me. I move over the decimal. If I chose 100 kilograms, just twice over, well, I would do more work. So answer is Marcos. Hope that fixed everything.